Miss Courtney. I'm actually really excited for a science experiment today because it's something I've never done before, so I'm kind of testing it right along with you. So this week, many of you guys are learning about being artists and the different kinds of art there are. There's sculpting, dancing, poetry, music, singing, and the one we're talking about today, painting. So because you guys are learning about painting, painters like Van Gogh and Monet and Manet, who study different ways to use paint, we're going to study different ways to make paint. I'm going to give you guys 3 recipes that are easy to make at home for your own paint. Here in front of me is everything you need. We're going to go item by item for what you need for each type of paint. You are going to need some basics though. You're going to need measuring cups. I'm using 2 1/4 cups. It's a 1 over a 4, 1/4 cups, and 1 1/2 cup. You're also going to need bowls for your paint. You're going to need a paintbrush. I recommend using more than one. Some of this is going to be finger paint and some is going to be paintbrush paint. You're going to need food coloring or paint. So I only have blue food coloring, but I have different colors of paint. So I'm actually going to use paint instead of food coloring, but they both work. The thing to remember is if you use food coloring in some of them, they're safe to eat, but if you use paint, they're not safe to eat. So I won't be eating any of the things I made today because I'm using paint, which isn't good for you. If you'll notice, the 3 colors of paint I've picked are blue, red, and yellow. Does anyone know what's so special about those 3 colors? That's right, they're the primary colors. You can mix any combination of 2 of them to get a new color. So if I mix blue and red together, I'll get purple. If I mix red and yellow together, I'll get orange. And if I mix blue and yellow together, I'll get green. So we're going to be making some secondary colors of these today. We're going to be, and you'll need bowls to put the paint when you're done and spoons to mix. So I'm going to start with the easiest one. We're going to start with pudding paint. All you need for this one is a pudding snack pack, or if you have the boxes of pudding that you mix, you can mix those together too. But I'm going to just use the pudding snack pack I have. I love pudding. And luckily for me, my favorite kind of pudding is vanilla pudding, which means there's no really bright color, it's just white. You definitely want to use white pudding for this, so it doesn't mess with your paint color. So I'm going to take my pudding snack, I'm just going to scoop it all in to this bowl. Okay, so I have scooped my pudding into this bowl. Just normal white pudding, it's totally safe to eat. Now, however, I'm going to put the paint in it, which is not safe to eat. I think we're going to start with orange. That's like a really fun, bright color. So a little bit of yellow and a little bit of red. Oh, this isn't open yet. Will make my orange paint. One second. Okay, there we go. So orange. Okay, now I'm just going to combine these together until I have the color I want. And the nice thing about mixing colors with primary colors, I kind of get to choose the shade of orange I want. Do I want a really bright orange? Do I want a sunset orange? Do I want like a yellow golden orange? I get to choose. So this is looking like kind of a sunset yellow to me. Here, I'll bring it to the camera so you can see this color. You see that I've mixed the yellow and the red together to make this pretty orange color. Now remember, because I put paint in here, not food coloring, this is now definitely not safe to eat. Now, pudding paint is really easy because I'm done. Now, I would recommend you use this paint as a finger paint because if you use it as a finger paint, it's like really thick. It doesn't really drip at all. So this is a great paint for finger paint. If you have younger brothers and sisters, like kids who are around 1 or 2, this is actually a great way to make safe finger paint for them. If you put food coloring in, they can paint with it all day, and it doesn't matter if they eat it, because younger kids sometimes eat things they shouldn't. Because it's pudding, it's totally safe to eat and actually pretty delicious. So there you go. Paint number 1 is pudding paint, which is more of a finger paint. Now we're going to work on paint number 2, which is a little more complicated. The next one we're going to do is a flower paint. So for this one, you're going to need flour, salt, and water. Now this one will be safe to eat until we put the paint in, but it won't be very yummy. So you're going to mix equal parts flour, salt, and water into a bowl. So this is where I'm going to use my 1/4 scoop. I'm going to do flour, 1/4 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of salt, we go. 1/4 cup of salt and 1/4 cup of water. That's all you need. Now I'm just gonna pour that in here, and you're gonna give it a good mix. It should be kind of pasty, almost like glue texture when you're done. Don't be afraid to really stir it up, and it's okay to get messy. I always think that science projects are the most fun when you get messy. So don't be afraid to get a little messy with this. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you can see this one's pretty liquidy. So if you find it's really liquidy, don't be afraid to add a little more powder, a little more flour to it, just to absorb some of that water, because you really do want a paste. Just a little bit more flour, just to make it thicker. You're definitely gonna want paper towels too. Okay? There we go. Now it's looking nice and thick, almost kind of doughy. Here, let me show you this on the camera. It's almost kind of doughy, like bread dough. These are actually the main ingredients for bread dough. On these, a little yeast and a little sugar. All right, now I'm gonna make my second color. I've already done orange. What is another primary color I could do? Let's mix red and blue now and make this a pretty purple paint. Okay, I'm gonna do my red first. Ooh, clumsy. All right, now I'm gonna open this up and do a little blue, because red and blue will make, there we go, a purple paint. Okay, there we go. Red and blue. Now it was safe to eat before, although not very tasty, but it definitely isn't now, because now I mix a lot of paint in there. Sometimes I find purple to be a hard color to make, because you have to have just the right combination of red and blue. If you add a little too red, it looks like burgundy. If you add a little too blue, it just kind of looks blue. So this is just coming out blue. So I'm gonna add a little bit more red, because I definitely want this to be as pretty a purple as our orange was. Oh, here we go. Now it's turning into a really nice purple color. Let me show you guys. See this really nice purple color? There we go, so we have our purple paint. Okay. So we've made, and this paint is definitely more liquidy. So if I were you, I would paint with a paintbrush, just like that. Okay, so we have our finger paint pudding and our paintbrush paint flour, salt, and water combination. All right, now there's one more kind of paint I'm gonna show you guys how to make. And that is a really fun combination of cornstarch and vinegar. So I'm gonna get my third bowl. The measurements for this one are a little funny. They're not exact like the other one is. So you're gonna do about, oh, let me check my recipe really quick, just to make sure I'm giving you guys the right amount. Yes, okay, you're going to do 2 parts of cornstarch to 1 part vinegar. That really means you want twice as much cornstarch as you do one of vinegar. So I'm going to do 1/2 cup actually I'll do 1/2 cup cornstarch, which means 2 of these, and 1/4 cup of vinegar. Now you can use any vinegar you want. You can use apple cider vinegar, although that has to have more of a yellow color. I'm using white vinegar, which is clear, so I won't add any color to our paint at all, which is I like when we're making it. Okay. That smells really vinegary. If you guys like salt and vinegar chips like I do, that's what this smells like. All right, now I'm going to mix them together. Now, last time my paint was a little too liquidy. This time my paint is very solid. So don't be afraid to add a little more vinegar.